the 80s, right down to near early 2000s, Donald Trump was a big-time real estate developer turned reality TV mogul, hobnobbing with celebrity elite like Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters, Larry King, Martha Stewart, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Don King, P. Diddy, Russell Simmons, Mike Tyson. I mean, the list goes on. He was the symbol of New York. He was even in the movie Home Alone when he was lost in New York. There is no way on earth that Donald Trump would have been indicted yesterday. No way. But Trump is not that Donald Trump anymore. He is a former Republican president running for re-election who is being indicted by a rogue partisan prosecutor for a case that is weaker than Stormy Daniels' pelvic floor. This case has gotten an incredible amount of media attention, as does anything to do with Donald Trump. But why? Even if there were some merit to this prosecution, it would still serve no public purpose at all. This case will not bring closure to victims because there are no victims, and it will not make the people of New York City any safer. Where's the media attention for the innocent citizens that get assaulted, raped, robbed, and killed in cities like New York every day? But it's all about Trump. A 19-year-old girl was shot and killed while working at a Burger King in Harlem, but it's all about Trump. Alvin Bragg has downgraded 52% of felonies, but it's all about Trump. And he only has about a 50% conviction rate, but he sued Trump over 100 times. And then there's the other political leaders that have gotten huge passes. Hillary Clinton should be under the damn jail right now. Felony number 1, she transmitted top secret documents of at least 16 messages on a private server. James Comey said it was an indictable offense, but he didn't think most prosecutors would do it. But it's all about Trump. Felony number 2, she destroyed subpoena documents, but it's all about Trump. Felony number 3, she hired a foreign national, Christopher Steele, the man behind the infamous Trump dossier that fueled the bogus Russia collusion crap, paid him $1 million and hid it. But it's all about Trump. This isn't an equal application of justice. They are not applying this equally to prominent figures, but it's all about Trump. Why? This should cause everyone, whether you love or loathe Trump, to look beyond what the elites and mainstream media are pushing out in front of us and ask, why are they pushing Trump in our face 24/7 and prosecuting him on such flimsy allegations when people are literally losing their lives on the streets of New York City and kids can't read in Baltimore City classrooms? And for goodness sake, why are y'all falling for it? This is destructive to our political norms. It should be obvious that I might not like a person, or even that a person is guilty of crimes A or B or C, does not give me uncircumscribed license to demand their prosecution in cases D or E or F. You can be anti-Trump and believe that there is wrong, and this is wrong, and this pursuit is alarming. The success of our culture and country hangs on the idea that we support and sustain a system that requires all accused people to be tried on the facts of the case within laws that are limited in scope. We are being manipulated about this and a lot more. And we're talking about it next. It's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, and let me introduce you to my co-hosts. We have Shelly E, we have T, and back with us tonight is former pageant director Kendra Patterson. How's everybody
doing? We're great. Thanks for having us on your show, KJ.
Right. I'm serious. Might as well. Let's just skip
I don't know why I'm here at this point.
Let's just skip this segment.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Let's just skip this segment. Everything else has already been said.
Oh my God. No. I want everybody's reaction. We're going to get to it. Join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. Also, we are an independent media. And a lot of times, all of the conspiracy theories that they've said in the past have come to light, and we were talking about it when they said it were conspiracy theories. So if you like independent media and want to support what we do, donate. Any amount is appreciated. Check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. All right, ladies, lot to unpack tonight. I had some stuff to get off my chest in the beginning, but I know you guys have reacted to all of this from yesterday. As we know, Trump was indicted. We knew this was coming. I want to get you guys' first reactions. I'll start with you, Shelly. What was your reaction to what happened yesterday, the indictment in Manhattan? 30 counts.
This is bullshit.
All right. T, what's your first reaction to this? Thoughts?
They're being haters.
Haters, okay. Now I know you might be the odd man out, Kendra. What are your thoughts? Trump was indicted after much fanfare. We all knew it was coming. What are your thoughts?
I feel like if he broke the law, he should be held responsible. And whether that, I don't know. I didn't really research what the general punishment for the crimes are. But they're business crimes, which tends to make it seem like if there was a crime committed, it's definitely along the white collar crime line of it all, which normally they aren't handled with as much fanfare. But of course, because we know who he is and what he stands for, they're gonna want to make an example of him.
So you're thinking, so let me just go with what you said. Okay. Again, you can have your own opinion, but if you just said that because of who he is, they're going to make it out of the fanfare, not based on the actual law. So you're saying it's okay to prosecute people based on whether or not they are liked by a DA, a state's attorney, or whomever. I just want to be clear that I understand.
No. I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. I think that I think for me it's black and white in the sense of if there was a crime committed, you're held responsible, and it should not be played out to me in the media. Like, honestly, if we're going to use the rule of law, he's innocent until proven guilty, and then there is a process. So to me, I don't think that it should be as much fanfare around it. If there was a crime that was committed, then, I think that the proper paperwork, whatever, but because, he is the Donald Trump, I think that it's getting way more. He's been tried and convicted in the media before the
he's also been tried and he's also been tried and convicted in the U.S. Congress and otto places as well.
And that's
and there was an attempt for these same charges that federal prosecutors didn't even want to take up because they were federal. They were looking at federal. They didn't even have the standing, if you will, to prosecute them. So let's just get this clear. So just because people don't like someone, I don't like Marilyn Mosby, but I said when she was first charged that she was probably going to get off on at least 2 of her charges, which I probably thought she should have. However, just because people don't like someone, and this happens to be Donald Trump, we seem to be unable, many of us, to separate emotions from fact.
Right. And that's my thing. My thing is, what are the facts of the situation? I don't think that it should be tried in the media or really in the court of public opinion.
But that's not what's going to happen. It's going to happen in the media. It's going to happen in public opinion. That's why we're here in the first place.
Donald, okay, so let me say
that's
this.
Why we're here in the first place.
First person to be tried and convicted in the court of public opinion. He ain't the first, and he's not going to be the last.
But this is the former president.
He's the former president. You are right. But the thing about it is, like I said, if we're looking at it as the charges and the adjudication of it, like just because he's the president it shouldn't happen to
one of the reasons you're for it is because he is being tried in the media. That's why
I don't care one way or another. Let's be clear. I don't give a damn one way or another. It don't make me no never mind. I ain't really paid much attention to it until KJ sent the text and said we was gonna be talking about it.
But you can't say that because you're here, so we got to talk about it. You're here, so we're talking about it.
No standing in my life, in my bills, or the cost of the milk that I have to buy.
Kendra, you brought up a good point though. Let's go back to something you said. That because he's the president, he's not above just because he's the president, he's not above the law. And so, the law should apply equally to him, is what you basically said. Is that right, Kendra?
Right. Like,
okay, I'm not saying let me go off of that. So just off of that. But what about the opposite way? Because what we're seeing here is because he's the president, this DA has hunted him down. He was looking for a crime. Before anything was even done, he said before he got into office, he was going to prosecute Donald Trump. And we didn't even know of any crime that Donald Trump had committed. So it's not even like, they have been trying to pin something on Donald Trump now for the last, 5 years. Isn't something wrong with that?
No, I agree. I don't think that anybody should be targeted in that way. And I take issue with that part of it. It's like, first of all, if you go, the age-old saying, if you go looking, you're going to find something. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. Like, if you look hard enough, baby, we all probably got an unpaid parking ticket or something somewhere for somebody to come talk about. So I don't think that it's fair that is how this has played out.
Let's be real. Let's be real here. They don't want him to run for president. They're trying to do whatever they can do to stop him from running president. But what they don't realize is this is going to make him even more popular.
And I agree. I don't think I think that
he's going to get even more black male votes. He's going to get even more black votes because now it's popular in the streets to be.
They have charges pending. They'll be like, bruh.
He got street cred
on the court date. You know what I'm saying?
Now Trump has street cred, and what it's going to do is make him even more popular.
If that the Democratic Party thought this through as far as the strategy behind it all, like they didn't, and that's my issue with the political parties anyway. It's like, come on, like the strategy of it. Is not the smart.
They don't care about that. They just want him to not run for.
They want him to go away. But one thing that we know is he's not going.
The resources that Bragg is using to bring misdemeanor, what he's charging as misdemeanors, and he's upped it to a minor felony. 34 counts of the same charge. All the resources. They outweigh the $130,000 that it's supposedly been used to cover up a crime for election purposes. So even on a financial basis, not even to mention the publicity and the media and how this is going to further divide our country, it is not even financially smart to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not even that, but let's talk about what this actually means. Take away from Trump. Let's say let's leave. If we didn't know who Trump was, let's say if this was anybody else in America where the state or the government went after you like this is, we gotta really, this could be any one of us on this call. This could be our sons, our daughters. How can we live in a country where this occurs? How can we not be upset? Take away who Trump is. The man was targeted. Everyone, not everyone, but most legal scholars that look at these charges say they're trumped up. I mean, it's 34 counts of basically what he did was, one, they're questioning whether it was even one. Right, one, they even question whether this can even be brought because it was over 5 years ago. This is another thing.
The statute of limitations.
Right, there's a statute of limitations. He's got 34 counts on this for paying someone for sex. Really, I mean, he paid off this woman.
He paid the lawyer who paid for who took out the loan or whatever he did. Again, now Trump is saying he didn't know about it, at least at the time. Okay, whatever. He screwed Stormy. So what? I mean, so what? He screwed her. Bill Clinton
better watch out. Right.
On top of the desk in the White House. It was, nobody, I mean, some people were calling maybe for him to resign or whatever. Okay, fine. But
no charges.
Right, exactly. So what Alvin Bragg has ushered in is the next phase where it's going to be point by point retaliation. And I'm of the mindset that now maybe it should be, because I'm sick of cowardly Republicans basically taking the high road and getting kicked in their balls.
It shouldn't even be a Republican Democrat.
It shouldn't be, but now this is where we are.
Yeah, I mean, this is like McCarthyism.
It's not really against the Republican. It's against Trump. They are trying to make sure that we don't have another situation with Trump being the president of the United States. And they know that that it may be a chance because he still have leftover supporters from running in 2024.
Yeah,
actually,
it's even bigger than Trump. Trump is representative of the populace, if you will, of regular everyday Americans. Sure, he's a billionaire, whatever his assets are. That's notwithstanding, but he represents his ideology, if you will. His platform represents what most Americans want: less government intrusion. They want to reduce their taxes. They want their kids and their families to live in safe neighborhoods, have just basic American service. Trump represents America, and what this Alvin Bragg is representing is the left, who is hell-bent on bringing in a totalitarian state, a country, and most of our Americans, sadly, are for it. We're like, sheep at the trough, eating off the shit. I'm sorry, I'm cursing. I know it's Passover, but I'm furious. I am furious.
Well, let's talk about, just as everyday citizens, I mean, we live in Baltimore, and Kendra, you live in South Carolina. But I mean, most prosecutorial offices don't have a large budget. They were just talking about here in Baltimore, how they don't have a large budget for investigators and things like that. And we're a major city. Same with New York City, and yet and still this DA has put all of this time, energy, and money into an indictment that has there's no victim in this.
Right.
What do you guys think of that?
My thing. I think that even though there is no victim, I think that if there is a violation of law, there should still be consequence. So like, I'm not saying, because if that's the case, there ain't no victim. If, I don't know, if I paid somebody off or whatever there's no victim.
And
so
this is why
a charge. If there is if he broke the law, then give him if it was a clerical error, give him a fine the same way they do with taxes and stuff.
That's what the thing is.
Give him a fine and go on about the business. Like, I don't think it should be.
I want to make sure I understand this, because to me, it's the way they have gone about this, targeting this man. They've targeted a man, a citizen. They've targeted him for prosecution. They've trumped up the charges. This was supposed to be a misdemeanor, but in order to make it a felony, They trumped up these charges, added all these.
That is right. I don't believe that is right. I don't think that anybody should be targeted and like, oh, I ran a red light, but y'all done convicted me of murder. I don't agree with that part. No,
I understand. So then, how can you agree with saying he broke the law?
No, I'm of the mindset. Like I said, I'm of the mindset of if he broke it ain't something that affected me in my personal life, so I don't understand why there is so much pain. I know why there's pain.
You cannot trust the system. If the DA is charging you with something and the DA is trumping up the charges, then how can you trust the same system that's charging you? You can't.
And that's my issue with the situation. My thing is this: I don't agree with trying to make it bigger than what it is. Like that's my issue with the situation.
The case has to be thrown out.
That's what's going on.
Right. And that's the part that I take issue with. Like
I'm
not sitting here and saying that I for once, like, this is breaking news. Like, I agree with y'all. It's gone a bit. Y'all don't hear that very often. I agree. It's too much. Like, it is too much for.
He's being persecuted, not prosecuted.
And the people of New York is really footing the tab for the pussy, because at the end of the day, they got to pay for security for the man to come up there to be held accountable for the pussy. This is some expensive ass pussy.
How can you get 34 charges from
one pussy? Was it multiple?
That's the case.
I didn't get where
how much is
was coming from. Like,
hey, how many charges are you worth, huh?
I never understood like how we get 34 charges from one. I didn't understand that part, and that's the part that I don't get and I don't agree with. Like, if it's one pussy and one payment, it should be
Kendra,
one.
Something you said about illegal. First of all, it's not illegal to make a deal between another person. It's not illegal to do that. Number one. Number two, for Stormy, I would have told her, you should have asked for more. Damn it.
I mean, she was very. She was a cheap pussy. Honestly, I've seen people pay.
She just had to pay Donald Trump over $200,000 he won in a defamation suit behind this.
So I think the total is about all together is going to be over $600,000, because that was on top of what she was already. So yeah.
So this is why. This is why. Before you say that, Kendra.
And he still got the charge. I personally don't feel like how you gotta get the money back for the pussy, but then you still. I just feel like that's just again, it's a bit much even for me and my.
This is why prostitution. This is why prostitution should be legal.
I've been saying that for years.
I mean, people pay for pussy all the time. I'm not against it.
You might as well. If it's between, like you always say, Shelly, if it's between two consensual adults. It should be legal. Get your money, sis. Get your money. Like,
pay your taxes.
I don't agree.
You're gonna have to pay taxes.
I don't know what the government has to do with that, but I've been saying that for years.
Right.
I'm not opposed to paying. I mean, I'm not paying for no pussy, but if you want to sell yours,
well, I hope you
tell somebody who wants to purchase.
What do you mean you hope you wouldn't? You just said you all both just advocated.
I hope she wouldn't pay for pussy.
What? I'm not paying for no pussy. What I'm gonna do?
They can do whatever. I mean, apparently do whatever you want to do, but I wouldn't pay. It's too much free. It's too much free stuff out here. Like, I wouldn't pay for it.
I mean, a hypocritical stance from.
No, I'm not. I'm saying because she's.
How's that hypocritical? How's that hypocritical?
I'm saying it based on violence.
There's a whole nother topic. We move on to.
Oh, now we gotta move on. After you had your first 15 minutes, now we gonna move on.
Now we gotta move on. Okay.
Right. All right.
So we will continue to follow that story. I'm sure it'll be in the headlines, but I really hope the audience actually questions, why is this going on? What's really going on behind this? Why is Trump public enemy number one? That's what we really.
Because they don't want him to be the president again. They have no control over President Trump. He does what he wants to do, and that's why he got all the black votes, because real recognizes real.
All right, so moving on, let's talk about local issues in Baltimore. So according to Fox 45 News reporting, Baltimore City Schools is among the lowest performing large school system in the country. We've talked about this in the past. Just 7% of city third through 8th graders last year tested proficient in math. The mayor is always talking badly about critics. Anybody who criticizes Baltimore City education system and the crime and all of that, he talks about them. He totally dismisses and puts down Fox 45 News for pointing this out. But now someone has come forward to offer help. A Harvard University trained mathematician is offering to help Baltimore City schools improve math scores. So Farley was, this man's name's Farley, last name Farley, was watching in February when Project Baltimore broke the news that 23 Baltimore City schools had 0 students proficient in math. And following the report, he sent an email to 4 of those schools. And basically, he said he wants to help. He has it's free. He has the means to do this. He's Harvard trained. He's helped other school systems get this done. And he reached out to Baltimore City Public Schools. And guess what? They did not respond. They never answered him. Again, the program that Farley offered the schools is pretty much a 3-prong approach that he developed over years. It's been proven to work, and they did not respond. Shelley, I want to get your thoughts on this. Why didn't they respond?
Because that letter that he received, or that response that they put in the news, basically they said, when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. Okay, that's basically what they're saying. So they have no intention, because he would bring in basically a division. He would cut right through the crap. He would prove that you don't need all of these billions of dollars. We can teach children math. They can learn. Black children, Hispanic children, they can learn math if you put up the right effort in the right conditions. They don't want that, because that is messing with their money.
T, I want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, they wouldn't even respond to this man who said that he had the tools and the means to assist people with these math proficiency. Is there any hope for Baltimore City? They won't even take free help?
Look, I mean, I can kind of understand, because like, who is he? We don't know him. Like, we don't know. Let me finish what I'm saying. We still don't know him. We still don't know if it works for Baltimore City. We still don't, like, the people are, the administrator, yes, we do need help, but we have to vet these people. We can't just say, just because anybody walks up and say, oh, I can help because I went to Harvard. That doesn't mean that you can help because you went to Harvard, because you whatever. Like, we got to study and make sure that the people that are raising their hands saying, I think I can help, can really actually help. So yeah, once we figure out who you are, if you vet out to be who you say you are, then we'll get back with you.
Excuse me, but they didn't even respond to him. They wouldn't even entertain a meeting with the man. So how is it somebody they don't even entertain him?
I mean,
I can't believe you.
So I said what I said.
You can say what you say. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You can vet people that's fine. You can check his credentials out. He is a Harvard, Oxford-trained mathematician at Morgan State University. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take 15 years or 15 weeks to do a background check. It doesn't take all of that. You can do that in 24 hours. This man he has programs in New England. I forget what states exactly, but in New England, he has programs that he has already implemented and has results from. It's teaching kids math. It's not. You don't need.
That's going to take time. You just can't jump in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna help," and you got to change up the curriculum. You got to change.
You can teach it.
You got to change up the curriculum.
He's a college professor. He can teach it.
You're going to change up the curriculum all of a sudden because somebody raises their hand and said, "Oh yeah, I can help." So even if he can't help, you still got to figure out if his help, where to put in his help. You just can't say, "Oh yeah, come on in, sir." You got to make sure that.
Look at this clip.
When Project Baltimore broke the news about the 23 schools, North Avenue declined an interview. Instead, the district issued a statement with the steps it's taking to improve math scores. They include professional development for teachers, summer learning, and an extended learning period at the end of the day. The district added that it's confident the strategy will work.
It sounds good on its face, which is, of course, why they told you that.
Project Baltimore wrote North Avenue, asking if they plan to contact Farley to discuss his offer. The program wouldn't cost city schools anything. Farley said he can get the funding from private companies or philanthropists. We received this reply. We appreciate Mr. Farley's offer, although we find WBFF TV's advocacy of his proposal oddly self-serving given its coverage. If we have further interest, we will contact him directly. In the meantime, if Mr. Farley or any other member of the community would like to review the concrete steps we are taking to increase math proficiency, we encourage them to learn more at baltimorecityschools.org.
I actually love math more than people.
Farley has devoted his life to studying and teaching mathematics. He offered help to Baltimore City because he knows how important math is, not just for our city or our country, but to the world.
Maybe it's too soon.
And he's not giving up.
But hope springs eternally.
One day soon, maybe city schools will respond to his emails. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
I stand by what I said.
Kendra, your thoughts?
I think that's sad. I think that for somebody with a program that's documented, it's not like it's something that he just put together and was like, oh, I know how to count. I can teach you to count. And, we gonna Gracie Corner and we gonna learn how to count. I think that
that's what it sounds like.
He has the professional backing and the credentials. And we talk about credentials and talk about if anybody know how to count, it's a man from Harvard, a black man from Harvard, might I add, that has developed the program to increase math proficiency.
And he was going to get the funding for it. He was going to get the funding for the program.
And then he gonna find the money. And then my thing is this: if they're already at zero proficiency, what is the worst that can happen?
Coming from,
I'm in South Carolina, but you already at zero. So to me, if you can help one, then it's progress because y'all are at goose egg. So what's the worst that can happen? One person learn how to count,
and that is what. That's what they don't want, because again, it will basically embarrass them.
Right.
That's what it will do.
Look at the response they gave. So they give this smart, snarky response talking about.
I want your opinion, I'll give it to
you. And WB, because it's coming from WBFF Fox. I mean, these people,
they said it was self-serving. So the dude is probably just coming from anywhere. Like, hey, put my name on it. I'll find the funding. I'll do this. I'll do that. But I mean, you gotta prove. How is it proven? Because
it's better to let the children stay where they are, learning nothing and basically being under.
They gotta figure things out first. We just can't jump in and have a guy come in. Maybe let them do some stuff on the side. Let him do some stuff on the side and see how it works.
He was going to do it. It's a program that he was going to get funded.
It was in addition to.
Then why does he need to even bother the school system if he's going to do it on his own?
Because you
figure out how it works outside of the school system first. Test it outside of the school system and see how you can implement it. Give some type of plan, not just say, "Hey, I can fix it." Because
this is why our children are the way. This is why our children are still where they are. This is why.
Why?
Because y'all at zero because y'all can't count.
No, Shelley, why?
That I had never heard that. I think that's probably the craziest thing I'd heard all week.
What?
It's 2023. You have a city education system.
We don't know this dude
that can't teach kids how to read or read.
That's because he's black.
We're not even talking about reading. We're talking about
because he's a mathematician.
How to read, and they cannot teach the children math. You have this man who has a system that has proven to work, and he goes to the city and they don't even respond to him. It's not even like they brought him in a meeting and say, all right, let me hear what you have. They don't even respond to him. That is speaking volumes to the leadership that we have in education in this city. And
they responded to one. That was a response.
They responded to Fox and basically said to him, when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, that was a response.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. But
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, at this point, it's not costing any additional money. And I don't have a dog in this fight because I'm in South Carolina. But to me, if I don't have to find the money to pay for it, it's something that is in addition to what's already being taught. So it's proven track record. And you don't have to pay for it. And it's not something that they have to have any additional time, effort, energy for. I'm confused at what the problem is, because most people, they have to pay for things like that. Like here in the South, they be like, okay, you want to learn how to count? Yeah, that's going to be $3,000. We're going to need that up front. But like this man is offering his time, his resources, his credentials to help y'all at zero.
He can still help. He doesn't have to go work the school system.
Y'all can't count.
He is helping. He's working at Morgan State University, but the school system is what needs to help. That's why
them babies ain't gonna make it to Morgan to be able to be taught by him because they can't count.
No, you're right. And I'll end on this. The program that he offered is a 3-pronged approach he's developed over years to better teach young people math. Step 1 is to requires concentration.
Wait a minute, stay right there, KJ. Stay right there. That's the number one problem. They don't want to get rid of the riffraffs out of the school.
Right. Yeah, that's what he said. That's the first step, to suspend, expel any troublemakers from the system, because he believes that's what's stopping these children from thriving, because in math you need concentration. Then step 2 is to drill in repetition. Step 3 is to create accelerated programs which allow students to compete against each other to stimulate competition. I mean, it's a great program. It goes against all.
They don't want to get rid of the horrible, badass students because they can still claim them on the rolls and get money for them. If they get rid of them, then they would have no excuse of why the students can't at least learn better. And if they bring this man in, again, he's going to prove it can be done, and you don't even have to pay for it. He can get the resources and the funding for it.
Y'all know what this sound like? This is Lean on Me. That man is Joe Clark, and he trying to come up there, and he gonna say, these are the people, these are the riffraffs. Mm-hmm. Get them out of here. And that's not what they want. They don't want to have a Joe Clark moment. Free Mr. Clark. Free Mr. What's his name?
Won't even let the man do a presentation.
They won't even let him in to talk to the principal. That's sad. Y'all, Baltimore got to do better.
Yeah, speaking of that, we want to move on to, still on schools, but Isaiah Carter. So it's been about a March now since Isaiah Carter, 16, was shot and killed in Baltimore. He's the 6th of 7 Baltimore City schools to be shot this year. He was gunned down on steps from his high school during school hours. That's his mom. She spoke with the school, worried for Carter's safety weeks before the shooting. Then came that Monday afternoon, and he was shot. So she was at a large rally at the Board of Education yesterday, and with Giovanni Patterson and many others who were rallying for change in the Baltimore City education system. There he was. This is Giovanni Patterson right there. He's a big proponent of holding hands, and you can see him holding hands there. So he, she even spoke. Ms. Hines was on the news speaking about it. She said, here in Baltimore, they don't do anything. Children get murdered during school hours. Children leave class during school hours. No one's preemptive. They're reactive, is what Ms. Hines said yesterday. So, again, this is on the crimes end, but it's the children. How can more tragedies like this be prevented? Let's start with you, Shelley.
Well, first, again, my heart goes out to this mom and their family. How can it be prevented? I would suggest a couple of things. One, if we're going to have public schools, we need to have armed officers in the schools, number one, or at least people who are trained and willing to be armed while on school time. Number two, take your children out of public schools. Well, according to T, they don't need to learn any more math. This woman, lost her son, unfortunately, and other parents have too this year. Take them out of public school. Public school might as well be the schoolyard where you just go shoot them up, bang, bang, and don't learn a damn thing. Take them out of public school.
All right. T, you want to get your response to Shelley? I mean, is she being a little too aggressive, or is she overstating your thoughts on that last segment? How do we prevent tragedies like this from being happened?
Well, Shelley's always aggressive. She's always the loudest one. So, shoot 'em up, bang bang. So, but I agree with her, actually. I mean, there are alternatives. There's school choice. There are boost programs in Baltimore City that you can actually benefit from to have better options for education, universal education freedom for your children. So find other alternatives in that situation. But I mean, if you can't, or if you don't have the resources, or if you don't know where to go, then be a parent. Homeschool. Figure other things out. I mean, because it's your child after all. It's not. Don't let the government, don't let the schools, don't let whomever is trying to take your children take them from you. They're your children. So do whatever you need to do for your children and their safety.
All right, Kendra, I want to get you in on this because I mean, some people say it's everyone can't homeschool. Some you do have a lot of single parent households within Baltimore City and cities across.
They're on welfare anyway. They don't work. My bad. Oh, I was supposed to be on.
What's your response to that?
I think that it's sad because public schools here, that's our norm. We do have school choice and magnet schools and all the things, but public schools is what's primarily here. I think that anytime you entrust your children when they leave you to be able to go and get an education, the reasonable response is for them to be able to return happy, healthy, whole, and not in a casket. So for me, that's sad, and I think that that's heartbreaking that is the norm for you all. And one is too many, much less seven. And I think that there are other options, but it takes a community. Like, I agree. Like, I'm not saying that what T said is true, is that the people don't have nothing but time on their hands. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that there is a community. Like, it takes a community to raise a child anyway. It takes a village. And I think that the way, I don't have the resolve for Baltimore City schools, but I think that trying to find a village that fits your children and your child's learning style, and even understanding your children's learning style, because some kids can literally sit in the classroom all day and they're not going to retain anything because that's not how they learn. And so I think that we have to find the village and then be the village to make sure, because I mean, at the end of the day, at this point, from what I've gathered from you all, they can't count anyway. And then they go and then they have you getting shot and the people, there's no security. So what are you sending your child to? Like, what I don't know. I would not be able, in good faith and confidence, send my child to a Baltimore public school and feel like they would come home. Or at least
I can't.
Or at least come home. At least be able to count. Like, you can't count and you can't be safe. So what is the point of going? I really feel like Baltimore City needs a Joe Clark moment of referendum and because I don't see any other way at this point. And Mr. Math Man was gonna help y'all out with that, but y'all didn't call him back. So call the Math Man. That's all I got to say.
All right. We have to move on, but very good thoughts from all three of you on that subject. So moving right along, we're going up to college, to LSU. So the LSU Tigers captured the first national championship in the history of the women's basketball program in front of a record-breaking amount of viewers. But much of the talk has not been about the Tigers winning over the Iowa Hawkeyes. The focus has been on LSU forward Angel Reese, who sparked reactions from every corner of the sports world when she made gestures toward Iowa guard Caitlin Clark in the final minutes of the championship game. This has been all over social media. She basically approached her and did this thing. Like that. Yes.
Johnson.
And it has brought up a firestorm. People are saying, a lot of people came down on her about doing that. And she responded. She said, well, I thought it took, she says, I don't fit in the box that y'all want me to be in. Reese said, I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year, but when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. So this was for the girls that look like me. This has even escalated to the presidency. So Jill Biden was caught. Not caught, but she made a statement on it. After the win, she invited both teams to the White House. I think we have the clip here.
Despite not coming home with that championship win, the Hawkeyes are being recognized for their incredible tournament run.
So I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So, we'll have LSU come. But you know what? I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too, because they played such a good game. So, right? So winners and losers, that's sportsmanship. That's good sportsmanship.
We will see what happens. First.
And then take a look at Reese's response.
We not coming.
Do we have that? Oh, we don't have that.
Well, she said we not coming, period.
She said get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, she basically said she declined the invite now. So she was on the winning team and declined it and said she didn't want to come. She would prefer to hang out with former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. So she said she felt, I guess she kind of felt snubbed that Jill Biden would invite both the winning and the losing team. This thing has been all over the place. They've made it to be racial. What do you guys think of it?
So here's my feeling. Oh, go ahead, Shelley.
Oh, I'm sorry. She might not want to hang out with Michelle and Obama if all she's doing is based on race. But this is what equity looks like, and thanks to Obamas and the Bidens ushering in this equity idea, this is what equity looks like. The same people she wants to hang out with are the same people who implemented this crap where there are no winners and losers. Everybody gets a trophy, so everybody gets to come to the White House.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this, Kendra?
Here's my thing. I've never been the type to be of the everybody gets a participation trophy. And I don't think just in history, I don't think any losers have gone to the White House. And even Caitlin, when she responded and she was just like, no, this is their moment. They should go. It's winners go to the White House, the losers go home. Here's my thing. I think that when it comes to women's sports, as a South Carolina Gamecock fan, although my girls didn't make it all the way and we were sent home by Caitlin, it's fine, kind of. But I think that and Angel Reese being from Baltimore, she gave Baltimore swag and Baltimore style and Baltimore grit. And if you gonna dish it out, just make sure you can take it. Because, baby, Caitlin did it first. She responded. And then there was a troll. The internet was trying to come to her rescue, and she didn't need no rescuing. Sis said, listen, we done all talk trash all tournament, and it is what it is. And I don't know where this thought process that women can't be competitive and we can't talk trash And because we can and we will. And if you're really playing with heart, you're going to. And I think the world saw that in real time, and they wasn't used to it, but they should, because we talked about I think last time we talked about just showing up and being us. Angel Reese showed up and she was like, listen, I'm gonna be me with my crown and my lashes and my lace front. I don't know how that lace front didn't move. I don't know what kind of glue she using, but listen, she came and gave basketball a whole new look, and I'm here for it, because when I played basketball back in 1997, I didn't look like that when I was out there on the field.
She had the FloJo look.
She gave us FloJo. She gave us Barbie. She gave us crown and pageantry and pomp and circumstance. And Caitlyn gave us.
That's a little bit much.
Let me get T in on this though. What are your thoughts, T? Oh, I think she's frozen. Well, to me, and Kendra, I want to come back to you on this, because you have been in the pageant world for many years. And I just don't, to me, it's just, and again, I have played sports in high school and, in high school, I'm a pretty athletic person most of my life. But it's one thing to be a certain way on the court. And you're going to talk trash. I've talked trash I played tennis, I ran track. I'm a big spades player. You talk trash. I am probably one of the biggest trash talkers. But the way she was off the court is my issue. There, as a pageant director, she does not exhibit any grace to me. No kind of style off the court. And I wish we had the interview that she did.
I think that comes with.
I didn't see any class, no grace.
I don't think media training has been a thing. I don't think that. And it kind of shows that she just shows up. She's not refined, but you also have to realize, I think she's like 21. She's still and you're on the biggest stage. This was the most that women's basketball had been watched. I think it was like 5 million people watched South Carolina lose, and then 4 million people watched LSU win. Them being, I don't think coming into this season, people wasn't talking about women's basketball in a way to have as fanfare, to whereas with the men, they have media training. They're prepared for this moment. And I don't think that from that side of it, I think that there's definitely work to be done. I think you can be a gracious winner. But like I said, Caitlyn gave it. She told people to shut up. Let me
ask you this. I don't understand why age has to do with that. Because, and let me say this, I have a son. He plays sports. Sportsmanship is taught from as soon as you can walk and play. They're teaching these kids, grace, leadership. Yes, you can talk trash on the field, or on the court, or whatever you are. But off the court, I don't understand why that has to be taught. You humble yourself and have.
That's what we want. You don't got to be humble when you win.
First of all,
you be humble when you win. I won. Why do I gotta dim my light because you lost? No, I'm
not talking about that part. I'm not talking about that. I'm specifically, I was with her up until the diss to the Bidens. I felt like that is where
diss to the Bidens.
But Biden, when she invited, I think everybody.
We could see
that was a diss. That was a diss. I wasn't even playing.
I felt like she was disrespectful. And
you mean because she didn't go because she said she wasn't going?
No, I'm not talking about what she said. I'm talking about how she said it.
Oh, because it was on the shade room. Because she said we're not coming.
Demeanor. To me, it wasn't sport.
Well, how was she supposed to say?
To your point about sportsmanship, KJ. Look at the coaches. Okay, the coaches aren't really sportsman-like either. So the coaches are there. They are learning something from their coaches, and I think this behavior. What's the coach name? Kim Mulkey and Don Stahl, or whatever their names are. They're not necessarily the most quote unquote refined coaches to teach these girls, you said, the grace and the humility of sportsmanship. So I would say look at the coaches a little bit too. However, I agree with Kendra. They were the winners. And even Caitlin said, hey, this is part of the game.
Yeah, but we have people like Kobe Bryant, who's really young in the game. You had people like
that was a different time. That was 92.
Exactly. It's a different time. And to me, these new celebrities, as I call them, these new celebrities, whether it's in sports, whether it's in singing, dancing, they don't have any type of class to me. I'm sorry.
Jill Biden took the first shot. What is she supposed to say? Excuse me, first lady, I don't want to come to your house. I don't know what else she's supposed to say.
Honestly,
you're not coming.
Jill Biden didn't mean any harm by it.
I don't think she meant any harm, but the reality of the situation is, I think I've seen somebody say since 1800 and something, the winners go to the White House. We're not going to reinvent the wheel in 2023 and start inviting everybody up here. Them girls won. That's their moment. That's their moment to shine. And she diminished that. Well, I'm going to tell you.
But this is what equity looks like. This is what people vote for. This is what people vote for. This is equity. Now people are up in arms about it. This is I bet you dimes to donuts. I bet you lunch at Panera that Reese voted for Obama. Well, I don't know how old she was, or whoever, or Biden. But this is what she voted for. This is what they voted for: equity. And this is what it looks like when it comes home to roost.
Here we have the clip now. This is Reese responding to Joe Biden.
That's why she came out with that statement this morning. We made a lot of phone calls, and that's why she wants to come out and apologize. But at the same time,
the damage is
I don't accept I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't accept the apology because of you said what you
Jill
said.
Biden.
Yeah,
the
wife. Yeah,
you said what you said, and you meant what
I
you
said what I said, and you can't go back on certain things that you say. I mean, you felt like they should have came because of sportsmanship, right? They can have that spotlight. We'll go to the Obamas. We'll see, I'm gonna see Michelle. I'm gonna see Barack.
Hold on. So did you guys speak to the First Lady?
No. Apparently, she was supposed to come to our locker room before the game, but we said no.
Before the game?
Yeah, she was supposed to come to our locker room and go to Iowa's locker room. I don't know if she talked to them. I don't know if she did, but we said we didn't want to. We didn't want her coming to the locker room. I think Joe Biden had put somebody else to win the national championship. He didn't even put us on his bracket to get out of Baton Rouge. So I was like, bet.
Oh, you weren't even on the bracket.
We weren't even out of. No, we didn't even get out of Baton Rouge. I think that he said we were going to lose to Michigan or something.
KJ, I just saw that part. That was the first time seeing that. And I think I have to agree somewhat. I think she was disrespectful in that, first of all, she was being racist. She got the racist plug in there. She's going to go to the Black people when she feels safe and everything's going to be approved. But if you just take it, if you didn't see any of them, their faces, you probably would say, I would say that she was disrespectful just because of her age and an older person. She was just disrespectful in that sense. I would agree there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, it's like, and again, you're talking to somebody that
White House because they own.
With first of all, I am not a fan of the Bidens. I don't even like saying bye. I don't like the Bidens. I don't like Jill. Honestly, but if in this situation, if I'm playing a game and this is the kind of way they do it, again, the woman, I don't think she's very smart. And she's one of these, I meet these kind of people all the time because I'm a very competitive mom. Like my son plays game, he's a big sportsman person, and I'm very competitive. I would have been the same way. It's only one winner and it's a loser.
Right.
And it's sometimes a learning experience if you lose. But you do have parents like Jill Biden. I'm around them all the time that wants everybody to get a trophy. I don't think that's just the way they are. I don't think they mean any harm by it. I don't think Joe Biden meant any harm. But humble yourself, girl. I mean,
well, I don't think. Here's my thing. And just hearing what she said, it was we didn't want them to. They didn't have us in this. They didn't have when they did their brackets. They wasn't thinking that we would ever be in this place. So why would we give them our energy before the game? And then after we win, you didn't choose us. You didn't choose us to be here. Then after we win, you gonna say, "Oh, y'all can come, but y'all have to bring the losers."
But Kendra, she still was disrespectful. Period. I don't like the Bidens no way since Sunday. Okay, like KJ said, and the fact that a lot of people want everybody to have trophies is usually the women who want to do that. It's usually the mothers. Okay. Not the guys, it's usually the men, the women. But just on from a younger person, just having a sense of respect. Look, I'll give you an example. Obama came to my daughter's school years ago when she was early, I think first grade, when she was in public school at that time. He visited, and so the kids had to go. And she knew I didn't like Obama, but I told her, if you are called on, if he says hi, then you be respectful. Number one, he's a grown man, okay, and you're just a child. Number one. Number two, you're just respectful. You say Mr. President or Mr. Obama. You don't have to take anything that I say. God knows they might put you out of school. But again, it's just a basic respect. That's all.
I understand that part of it, but she wasn't talking to Jill in the clip. She was among friends. So it's not
that's true. That's true.
So I think that in context, it's not like she called up Jill Biden and was like, "Hey, Jill, we ain't coming."
She was doing an interview. I mean, it wasn't like, she was talking amongst her friends in a private setting. This thing is going to be plastered all over the country.
But does that mean you got to filter yourself? I get to a
like I said, and I know we don't have much time, but it's just a different type of celebrity these days.
KJ, just say what you really want to say. Say what you really want to say. It's the black girls acting, just showing their ass.
It's actually not just the black ones, but it's just people do not have any grace, any class anymore. You have people like Whitney Houston, what's the other one? Shaka Khan, who were ignorant in real life. People know them who they but when they got on the stage or when they were in an interview, they acted with style and grace. Now
Whitney say she was smoking crack in the interview?
But you didn't know it. We didn't know it.
She said that in the interview. She said crack is cheap. I'd have made too much money to ever crack is whack. Now, you can't use Whitney as an example because Whitney never told us that crack was whack.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Older, she lost a little bit, but I'm talking about when she was young.
Young Whitney. Okay, because old Whitney was out there.
Girl, young and had respect for elders and things like that. This all is gone out the window, and it's a shame. It's a shame because none of these people can be used as role models. None of them.
I think it's interesting. I think what I find interesting is when we had the conversation about people just showing up and being unapologetically them. Like Angel showed up and was unapologetically her, and then she's called classless. So which one is it? Are we telling people to just be who you are, or are we telling people to be who you are within a box? Because when you're in the box,
no, we're saying use discernment. We're saying use discernment. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. That's at least what I'm saying.
Got it. Because you can't see.
I think it's a time and a place. It is a time and a place, and people have lost that sentiment. It is a time and a place. Let me tell you. I can act a total fool, okay? I can act a total fool with depending on who I'm with. But I know that when I'm around adults, or if I am in a situation where I'm in a public place and I am representing myself in a certain way, representing my team, or I'm a player or my job, I'm going to act a certain way.
But isn't that code switching? And y'all told me that we don't code switch no more. So I'm confused. Because if you're time in a place, then time in a place is because I'm here, I'm going to not act this way and I'm going to act this way. So which one is it?
That's called discernment. That's called real life. That's called discernment. If you want to call it fake it sometimes, I'm for that. Fake it, because I do that sometimes at work. There are things I want to say to people that I don't like, but I know I can't, and I know I can't. So it is called a time and a place. It's called discernment. When and where. You don't take your butt outside naked. There's a public, there's a private.
No, and I get that. I think that if the roles were reversed and LSU had lost, and Caitlyn and Iowa had won. And I don't think that there would be as much backlash because she couldn't see her either. I think that it would be different. Not saying that it is a race thing, but the media responded to Caitlyn and her
well, let's go there because you want to go there. We can go there.
I'm just saying. I don't know who we blaming, but the media made it seem like it was cool when Caitlyn couldn't see nobody, and when Caitlyn told the girl to shut up because they down by 15, they nobody had nothing to say about that. And when she told the girl that she ain't even wear garden because, like, when Caitlyn did it, that it was just all in the name of sportsmanship and fun. Well, but when Angel Reese do it, and she say, put that ring where it go, then all of a sudden, you got to win with class and dignity, and you got to say, oh, thank you.
Now, whatever happened to, hey, y'all, I'm back. Whatever happened to just talking junk, like talking crap to each other during games? Like, that's what really, and people want to say, oh, she was taunting. There's no such thing as taunting when you're playing sports.
That ran where it went because that's
I can't speak to that because I didn't have an issue with the gameplay. I didn't have an issue with the back talking it. But let's talk about what you just said. You know, Angel, what's her name? Angel Reese or whatever.
Angel Reese. That's Baltimore on. That's y'all people. They're y'all cousins.
She's not my people.
Them y'all cousins and stuff.
No.
Oh no! Don't act like that, KJ. Don't act like that.
That's Baltimore strong right there.
Yeah, Baltimore stand up. Let's represent Baltimore stand up. She's from Randallstown. Let's do it. She went to University of Maryland, and then she switched over and still love.
And her cousin played for UConn.
Wait a minute, KJ, what were you saying?
In Maryland too. So I'm just
wait a minute, KJ, what are you saying? What were you saying, KJ? I want to hear what you said.
I'm saying that we have a situation here. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the exit interview by the other girl, Caitlyn, whatever her name is.
Is she a girl? But that's another. But
yeah, she is. She is a girl.
I'm not going to do this with you today, T.
I got questions. I got questions.
I need a birth certificate for about 3 of them.
She certainly had more style and grace than the Angel Reese girl in the exit interview. And this is what men have an issue with Black women, because Black women, some are too mouthy.
You're supposed to be mouthy.
Like, now, when I said Black women,
what was mouthy about what she said? How was she mouthy?
Did you
say nothing? That's the problem. Sis ain't said nothing.
No, I'm not. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with the gameplay. Again, whatever happened on the court, I am cool with. Trash talk, you do it all you want to do. But after you get off the court, you are no longer in a game. And so you are this is you. And yes, you can be assertive and you can be confident, but you heard what she said. I mean, she even called herself ghetto. You know,
but the media
called her ghetto. She said, you all call me ghetto. You all call me hood. That's what she said. She wasn't calling herself that.
Right.
She said that all season.
She just said she's unapologetic. That's what she said. She's unapologetic.
That she was coming off like, y'all called me ghetto, y'all called me hood, so I'm gonna show you ghetto and I'm gonna show you hood.
I don't think that's what she said. I think
I may be wrong about that.
What she said was, y'all called me ghetto, and I don't fit the narrative that y'all have put before me this entire season. And I done talk trash this whole season. But when other people do it, it's sportsmanship. She changed the game, baby step, this, that, and the third. Nobody blinks or bats an eye. But when I do it, it's a problem.
Cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
It's not the same. What the media did. I'm not saying it's her. The media did that. Because if you look at it, the media did that.
Because she has to do it with it. Again, I don't mind what they do on the court. Outside of the court, act like you have some sense. And I didn't see that in the interview. I haven't seen that in any interview she's given. She acts ghetto. She does. She acts ghetto.
What if she is?
Then she is.
Then what's the problem? Right. What if she is?
Well, if she is, then she is.
She might be ghetto, but she college educated. She might be ghetto, but sis getting the bag because name and likeness. So she might be ghetto, but she's building wealth. Like my thing is this, she might be a little ghetto, but sis is securing her future, so we can't really be mad at how ghetto she is or ain't. Because she's in college and she's getting a college education while also playing basketball and winning a national championship. She ain't that ghetto. Sis was smart enough to go to school. Just saying.
I don't equate ghetto to being uneducated, and you can still be stupid and educated. But I don't equate ghetto to being uneducated. But ghetto is not knowing how to act when the time is right. That is what ghetto is.
Ghetto is a cultural thing,
right?
And it's
subjective. Or the lack thereof.
And I don't like ghetto people. You know, so somebody now we into this thing where what's wrong with being ghetto? It's a lot wrong with being ghetto. Again, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. But if you're gonna be ghetto all the time, you can't be around me. I don't got time for it. We don't know
that she's ghetto.
Well, no. You know what? The problem is that many people who are ghetto, what we call ghetto, they don't know that they are because it's accepted so much in society. They think that this is the norm. They don't know how to distinguish between time and place or discernment. So in that aspect, I was okay with all this. And the only thing I would say was that she was disrespectful in that clip that I just saw. I think so.
One of the people said LSU at Louisiana ain't known for its academics. It don't matter, but listen, if she get a college degree, the people are gonna be like, she got a college degree. They don't go care whether it's Louisiana or
anywhere else. She's be in the WNBA anyway.
She's going to the WNBA anyway. Her and Caitlin might end up on the same team, child.
That would be ideal.
So now we're back to Black people not having to be really educated. Y'all don't.
No, we're not saying that. She gonna be. With the WNBA. You gotta go 4 years anyway to even qualify. So sis got to stay in school and got to be.
It's a job. It's still a job.
She's in school. That's a job. She's playing basketball. That's
a have to go to school, but it's a job.
Yes, it is a job. Like I said, I didn't say she was. I mean, she could be educated and still be ghetto. I know educated ghetto people. Again,
like some will say that you're ghetto, KJ.
Say again.
Some might say that you're ghetto.
Some people may say it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Some people may say it.
What is ghetto to you? What does that mean?
Ghetto to me means just unruly at the wrong time, loud, obnoxious. No sense of respect for other people's space and for other people in general. That's what ghetto generally means to me. It's just loud and obnoxious and don't know how to act in specific situations. I would say that would be ghetto to me.
And Angel,
I can't ask much of her. She was on the Shade Room. I mean, that's what the Shade Room culture is.
Well, that's what I was saying.
On Twitter.
Right now, we have a situation where our young people don't have any type of decorum. They don't know how to talk to people, to adults. It's no type of, it's a certain way you talk to adults. It's a certain way you talk about adults. You recognize, I think someone put it in the comments, you recognize someone's position. And you respect that and you talk to them in a certain way. So, I mean, again, I just believe that, and that's how I was always taught, especially when you're talking about elderly people. I mean, again, I don't like Joe Biden, and I think she was wrong for what the idea of what she said, because I don't believe you give everybody a trophy, especially in sports. But I could tell she didn't mean any harm. She was trying to be nice. And whatever. I just thought the girl Angela Reese could have handled it a little bit better. So.
But I don't feel like I mean, here's my thing. I think that she probably could have handled it better, but on the flip side of it, when it became Twitter gate to where her actions on the court became a trending topic, and she was classless for sportsmanship, and the people were coming in to save Iowa from their classlessness because she did the exact same thing that Caitlyn did. And then so to be in that space, to accomplish a goal, and then to get your phone and see that the world is telling you that you are having committed some infraction by doing the exact same thing. Why would you respect these people? I'm not saying that she's right. I'm just saying that I kind of understand her perspective. Because when I just won the national championship, but I'm trending because I'm classless because I did the same thing she did.
I did see her on live, and she said she can't even enjoy the win because she's worried about other stuff is popping up. So,
the interviews that she did, this girl's win, and then we mad at how she responded.
Yeah, because she didn't do herself any favors. She didn't do herself any favors. Again, I don't agree that she was acting ghetto on the court, but afterwards she should have shown that no, she's not ghetto, and I didn't see that. I felt like she was very disrespectful, and she was ghetto. And so the way they talked about her on the court, I can see. And again, I don't even watch this sport. I don't know the girl. I just saw this for the first time. So again, I'm coming from somebody who has no nothing. I don't have any type of idea about her. And the little bit that I saw, she looked ghetto. But we have to move on. So we will continue to follow this. We're moving on. We have another clip, and so this is something that we're going to unpack this clip that we're watching here. So take a look here.
Pass or propose some legislation straight from Lovecraft Country. And at this point, it's just silly. Florida is literally trying to outlaw the Democratic Party. I just want to pause briefly to let y'all know that Ron DeSantis is down there sanctioning the banning of books. Teachers' bookshelves have been cleared out by force. Get out now. One of them senators proposed the Ultimate Cancel Act. And wait for it. The act aims to revoke the approved status of a state political party. Oh, hell. If that party, you cannot be serious, has ever been pro-slavery.
All right, so that is Lene Vinay. I think it was Vinay. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but she is a YouTuber and content creator on Instagram. Very progressive, way on the left, and she's kind of given this almost like a spoken word thing, but kind of like this rant about the Republican Party. So that was the first thing she said. Any thoughts before I move on, ladies, about what she said so far? DeSantis clearing the bookshelves. She may be referencing a viral video that went around showing empty bookshelves in Florida libraries. That has kind of been debunked and found to be that the way the camera took.
So I'm gonna keep it black, but I'm gonna keep it brief.
So would she be considered ghetto?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I mean, not in this. I'm not in this setting. I haven't seen her in any other settings though, so I don't know.
Okay.
All right. You guys ready? Any thoughts on so far?
No, because I listened to it and she had a lot of different parts in there. So, but keep on going, please. I want to hear something more.
No, you lying. See, they tried to use a loophole because technically the Democrats were a Southern party during the era of slavery and therefore were pro-slavery. Emphasis on were. And at that time, Republicans, under the orders of Abraham Lincoln, the man who gave the Emancipation Proclamation and subsequent Reconstruction orders, were helping newly freed black people get on their feet. Girl, shut up. Barely. They was rationing out basic necessities, denying resources to women with children without husbands, and signing them up for sharecropping to meet job requirements. And you, Florida, of all people, and what's crazy to me is the bridge you tried to build from A to Z to get to Z and tell your kids one day that you were the party that finally did something about this country's inaction against the atrocities of slavery. And since your kids won't have any books to read about otherwise, they just might believe you. Because what you won't say is at that time, Democrats practiced Jacksonian democracy, built on white.
What?
So let's stop her right there. So, and she's running her mouth really fast. But, you know, she said a lot there that was some of the things were inaccurate. So she's trying to push the idea of the switch of the party.
Right.
So she's basically doing, saying that the party switched at a time in history where, and that's why she's saying the Republicans didn't really free the slaves, and she's pushing the party switch.
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, and I also got, I figured that's what she was trying to say, but then she's also saying that Florida is trying to basically erase the history that the Republican Party didn't help the Black people once they were freed. Is that what she's saying? They didn't get their 40 acres and a mule? Yeah. Well, we know. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, she's trying to blame everything on DeSantis. It's just a reminder of how they try to do Trump. Like they blame everything on Trump. Now they're trying to switch it over to DeSantis. But with the focus being on Florida right now. But yeah, she's trying to say that he's erasing all the bookshelves because of the fact of, CRT. And I'm sure we're going to hear that soon. But that's where she's going with this.
But what I found interesting about the whole thing is that in this rant, this, like you said, this spoken word, this poetic form, is that at the end of it, she's still basically pushing the idea that Black people need to, beg, borrow, and steal from white people. We were free. We were free. And yet we still are in 2023. We're still saying white people give me this, white people give me that, or white people don't, so they racist. This is tiring. You have a YouTube platform. I don't know how big your platform is, but obviously you are doing something for yourself. So you don't need the handouts from the white people that you are blaming with your spoken word.
Yeah, I don't understand what she's trying to push. I mean, the Republican Party was, of course, founded in 1848. And then Abraham Lincoln won election in 1860. We had the Civil War, which ended in 1865. And so then she's going on about, I guess that's when she's saying the party switched, but that's not true. Because the Democrat controlled the South from Reconstruction until the Civil Rights era. Right. So I don't understand what she's talking about there.
That's why she's talking so fast. And people who don't know any better, they're going to believe her. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, she's right. Oh, I understand what she's saying, Miss Ghetto Girl.
And even in this clip, when I listened to it, the one question I was left with, well, okay, even if you say the party switched, even if you think the Republican Party is the racist party, what has the Democrat Party gotten you? Are you better off? That was one of my questions. Are you better off? Because it sounds like you're still begging.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. The Democratic Party was strong in the South. They had 117 House members, made up about 41% of the Democrats in the chamber back in the 1960s. So, I mean, all you got to do is look at the people who were in power. Eisenhower, who was, he elected in 1952. He was a Republican, and he was, I think he was like the first Republican that won the Southern states. And then after that, you had the assassination of President Kennedy, and then in 1963, I think that was the Democrat Lyndon Johnson. He was the first Democrat to win office, I believe. It's a lot going on here.
Shelley, you mentioned 40 acres and a mule. Actually, it was the Republicans. That's the real concept. It was the Republicans that said, hey, free slaves, what is it that we can do to help you to get ahead right now at this point? Free slaves said, give us 40 acres and a mule.
Right. And so she's saying that they didn't get it, I guess, right?
Well, she's saying, you heard she said that they only gave it to Black people that were married. They wouldn't give it to single Black people.
And they told the single people to go to work.
Well, I mean, and then not only that, but we all know that era was it was one of the best eras for Black people, as far as we had our own businesses during Reconstruction. Black people had their own businesses. It was a high rate of families. It actually was a prosperous time for Black people.
Right. Booker T. Washington taught Black people how to build their own crops and schools and businesses, whatever. They ain't want that. They wanted to follow W.E.B. Du Bois and go and blow up stuff with the NAACP. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about.
What else is she saying here?
Okay.
White supremacy, named for the same man that forcibly removed natives off their land and literally sent them packing on the Trail of Tears. And if that wasn't wretched enough, he instructed military forces to send them off with blankets to keep warm. Whole time had them joints laced with smallpox in efforts to literally commit genocide under the guise of hospitality. White people will do anything. What you also won't say, because you don't read your damn self and don't bother to know the history of your own political party, is that Jacksonian democracy died when slavery did. Talk to him. And that white supremacist rhetoric transferred into the Republican Party by way of controversy over how much the government could intervene and affect rich white people's money. Let me break it down. Prior to the Civil War, the Republican Party was number one, brand new, in favor of the northern states and therefore industrialization. That's how white people could be anti-slavery but not pro-black at the same time, because slavery was just messing with their money. You follow?
Why would they be?
By 1877, only 12 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, those same Republicans helping Black people in the South said, "I've done enough," packed up their things and got the hell on by direct orders from Republican President Rutherford B. Hayes. And ever since, they hadn't seen any sense in helping Black people because their problems were a regional issue and most of the United States was white anyway, so who cares? And on the other side of it all was capitalism. Rich white industrialists in the North who used to be in favor of big government, to win the Civil War, were getting increasingly uncomfortable with how much government power was expanding. It's a bit of a story, but we almost there. You want some more tea? So anyway, they was mad when the Great Depression came in the 30s and FDR started promising all these government handouts and government intervention programs. Track the timeline. Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was the last straw. Barry Goldwater responded by saying that this was just another unconstitutional stretch of the government's power. And that, my friends, is how the vast majority of Black voters became Democrats and why the Democratic Party began supporting Black issues.
Wait, she didn't explain anything.
Basically, she's saying Lyndon B. Johnson signed all of these Great Society programs. And so this is why Black people became Democrats. Because, again, they're getting handouts from the government. Where's the dignity in that? And not only that, isn't she using YouTube and in a capitalistic way to get likes and subscribers? That's capitalism.
Yeah, one thing she said that was right, and that was about Goldwater. So he was actually very supportive of the civil rights for Black Americans. He voting in the 1957 and 1960 Civil Rights Acts, and even helping found Arizona's chapter of the NAACP. He was not a racist, but he was, which most Republicans were, in opposition to the 1964 Act, because it wasn't because it was rooted in racism. It was because he believed that it would infringe on state sovereignty. So
and again, which it has to some degree.
Right. So again, which we go back to, conservatives are all about states' rights and local control, whereas Democrats...
And limited government.
And limited government, right. Democrats believe in big government. So that was the issue he had with that. It was not about racism. It was because he believed it would infringe on state sovereignty. Again, he helped found the NAACP. So, and so this is what the Democrats tried to push.
Right.
They pushed this idea that it switched because of him and his position.
Right.
But in fact, we all know during that time, the Ku Klux Klan was founded by the Democrats. And if you look at the people who were in power as far as the leadership in Congress, the governors that were all doing racist things, or they were Democrats. And the Republicans ones that were in power
the South.
Right. So it's just what she's saying. It doesn't make sense on its face.
No, but basically she's asking for handouts or justifying handouts, and all these Black people who still 99% of the Democrat Party, well, they vote that way. So again, where has it gotten us? It has gotten them nowhere.
Not only that, but if you take a look, I believe it's Al Gore Sr., Robert Byrd, who were all known racists and segregationists. When they died, they were Democrats back then and remained Democrats until they died.
And one of them was a grand KKK member.
Yes, Cyclops in the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, it's called Exalted Cyclops. He was in the Ku Klux Klan. I think that was Robert Byrd. And he died a Democrat. He died a Democrat. There was no switch. There was no switch in the party. Any
Same people.
This is a prime example of why doing research is paramount, because if you just get your information from an Instagram reel, you'll have half information and not all
biased,
and definitely skewed and biased on both sides. I think that we've all been guilty of it's easy for everybody to make a perspective their way. And I think that is why you have to back it up with reason and fact, because regardless, you can take half truths and spin it to a narrative to make it look one way, when in honesty, there's truth in it, but it's not the full story. It's not the full picture.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'll go on the record and let you know, and everybody else know, I am biased. Okay, I'm biased. I'm prejudiced about some things, and I wear it proudly. I am biased.
I think the first step is fair. I think that, to be fair, I mean, we all have bias in some way, shape, or form. Right. And you lying if you don't. If you say you're not biased in some way, shape, or form, because life creates bias. Like, if you live long enough, you're gonna feel a certain way about some things. Mm-hmm. So we just have to make sure that even in our bias, and we have to make sure that at the root of what we're saying and educating is truth and fact.
Right. And not only that, but, and this is why I'm not totally against diversity and diversity training, or DEI, is some call it. When it's done the right way, it's actually a good thing, because it helps us to understand and recognize our bias, and then if you recognize it, a lot of times you will avoid it, or at least try to do something about it. And so
I don't.
Well, I mean, I do. I mean, sometimes it's good to discriminate and things, but most times
that's what I mean. I agree with you, but even long before DEI became a fad, I was biased. I knew it about some things, and on some things, I'm not going to change. Some things I'm open to learning, or maybe relearning, thinking about, but some things I'm biased, and I'm going to stand on that. Call it what you want.
Yeah.
At least you honest about it. Some people try to create a space where I'm inclusive and everything is, but at least you honest. I can respect somebody to say I'm biased and it is what it is. At least I know what I'm dealing with. It's different when you try to pretend like you not biased and we all sit here like, baby.
Yeah. Really? All right. We'll get a couple more seconds of this, and then we'll move on.
One might try to say that the Republicans signed the first Civil Rights Act of 1866, aka the 14th Amendment, but that, my friends, was just a formality to finalize the end of slavery and the beginning of the American Industrial Revolution. Tell these folks stop playing with us. We not dumb. But then there's Mississippi. Home to the highest percentage of black people in any state in the entire country, they proposed a bill that would create an entirely new court system to hear civil and criminal cases. And since the good citizens of Mississippi have not been able to elect a black person to a statewide office since the Reconstruction period, every single last one of these judges and prosecutors would be white. Talking about they trying to improve safety and lower the homicide rate in Jackson. When they've also expanded the control of state-run police in the city, state-run police who haven't updated their use of force policy since 2006 and don't even wear body cams. And now I need to tell you this, but a recent study out of NYU suggests that cities with the largest populations of black people, Jackson, do not see the same policing benefits as average cities. Homicide rates do not decrease, and the arrests of black people on low-level victimless crimes skyrocket. Tennessee, I'm also on your ass. Tennessee state legislature.
So, I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, KJ.
Paul Sherrill said with his whole chest on the House floor that they should bring back lynching. What? I wanna go home. In a state with a grotesque history of lynchings, that lily white libertine fixed his mouth and suggests that they add hanging by tree to the list of methods of execution. Help! I should win an Emmy for these. Tennessee also passed a bill to restrict public drag show performances. And somebody said loud as it's kept, y'all not mad about drag because it's drag. Y'all mad about drag because it's gay. Because Mrs. Doubtfire, Hairspray, Tootsie, Jack Lemmon won a Golden Glove for Something Like It Hot. And black people, you too, lining up for the Big Mama House trilogy, the multiverse of Mabel Simmons, love you some Eddie Murphy, white.
Well, she's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's just, now she's talking about this idea that, in movies and TV shows, men that dress up like women is the same thing as drag queens.
I thought she was saying two things. One, the idea she was talking about Mississippi first. She started off by saying Mississippi, the highest state where a lot of black people are concentrated, and then she talked about the laws that are passed. Well, idiot, if there's a lot of black people there, who's voting for the laws? Who's voting for the people to make the damn laws, right? Come on, the black people, right? And then number two, she's talking about these movies. I thought, to her credit, I thought she was saying that you complain about people in drags, but yet you support capitalism. You support these movies where men are paraded around looking like women. That's what I thought she was saying. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's not drag. That's not drag. Drag was actually formed out of the LGBT movement in San Francisco. It's supposed to be provocative. It's supposed to be sexual. These movies, Mrs. Doubtfire was a movie about a man dressing up as a woman so he could be closer to his kids.
And it's different when it's portrayed as comedy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a movie. They're acting.
I know. No. I know that. I know what you're saying. I know it's acting. I know the movie. I love Mrs. Doubtfire. I think her basic point was that men parading around like women. In one instance, it's kind of laughed at and celebrated, and in another, you're right. There are stark differences between drag queen shows and Mrs. Doubtfire. I get that, but I was on her very basic point. I was going to give her a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah, and both Mrs. Doubtfire and Tootsie were bad examples because they both went back to being men. They were men that liked women.
They were men, yeah.
Drag queens take their makeup off. It's the same way.
Yeah, but they still
don't stay drag queens all the time.
Say again?
Drag queens don't stay drag queens all the time. Like they go drag.
Yeah, but they don't go back to.
And then they go back, to being Daryl or whatever their name is. And it's the same with Mrs. Doubtfire. She was Mrs. Doubtfire, then you go back to being Robin Williams when it's over with. I think that is the comparison that she was making. I think if that's the comparison she was making, is that in this instance, when it's comedy and it's okay, and you're not hiding your children, or it's not a big thing. But in drag as an art form, like it's a problem. I think that's what she's saying.
In the movie. It was a problem in the movie. It was looked upon as weird. It wasn't something that they were encouraging for kids to become and do. And Mrs.
I don't think that people are encouraging kids to become and do drag. I think that it's an art form. I think that adult people can participate in the art form. I don't see where kids there's like. I mean, it takes a lot of art for a man with a beard to turn into a Beyonce. That is art at its highest form.
Why do children don't need to be? Children don't need to be there.
I could never.
Kendra, children don't need to be in.
Have you ever been to a drag show, Kendra?
I don't think that.
Kendra, have you ever been to a drag show?
Yeah.
And you're saying that that's a place that's acceptable and suitable for children?
No, I'm saying that it's a time and place for everything. I'm not saying that is. No, I mean,
that's
as
not what you said.
RuPaul Drag Race watcher, I'm a
art
form of it as an adult. I wouldn't take a 5-year-old to a drag show, but I don't think that if I'm coming from a drag show and I stop at the supermarket in drag, that I need to hide the children. I don't think because you was going to get eggs.
We're not talking about that. We are talking about people taking kids to drag shows and drag queens reading the kids at story hour about gay stuff.
Well, I think that, like I said, I think drag as an art form for an adult is one thing. I think that if grown people want to take their kids to let the drag queen read the book, that's people having their ability to choose how they parent and what they expose their children to. As far as me, it would be a no for me. But as far as drag, the art form, I'm a fan because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to make an ugly man into a relatively beautiful halfway kind of.
And you're a former beauty queen or something like that, right?
And as a former beauty queen, I would know because I go from looking like this to looking like pageant ready. It takes a lot. And for me as a whole woman. So for a man to go from a man to looking like a whole woman, that is talent. But as for grown people, I don't think that it's a child thing.
No one is saying that we have an issue with drag queens and drag shows. We have an issue with them trying to push it on children, which they are. They are. It's not
right.
Without
And that's what I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. As drag as an art form for grown folk, that's fine. As far as children, that's not. It would be a no for me as a parent.
Yeah, and yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we are at the end. We've almost 2 hours tonight. So if you are still with us, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with us tonight. My goodness, yeah, it's almost 2 hours.
Well, we got our last topic, right?
Yep. So this brings us to the end of the show. I want to close out tonight with on a good note. We all hail from the city. Kendra, she's here with us tonight. She's from South Carolina.
I was born in Baltimore. So I'm Baltimore born.
Okay.
South Carolina raised.
So I just wanted to end on what's something that you enjoy about or the city living. I start with you, T.
Well, since Yana's here, I will say that the food. I love having the different types of food. I mean, the crabs, although being a Florida native, we prepare them a different way. I appreciate having that same access to crabs and the food and the restaurants. We do have nice restaurants in Baltimore. We can give any other city a run for their money, especially DC. DC thinks that they have the best food scene, but actually Baltimore has a better food scene with better options and better quality food. So I'm going to go with food. I love having those options and going out and experiencing the food, the charm that's in the food.
All right. What about you, Shelly? What's your favorite thing about city living?
Well, one of the things I enjoy now is running over those barriers in the streets, the bike lanes. I love running them over, just knocking them down. So that's what I like doing now. But aside from that, yeah, I do. I'm sick of them damn things. It's too many of them. Anyway, aside from that, from a historical perspective, I remember when Harbor Place first opened and the marble steps, I used to scrub them when I was a little girl. And it was a sense of community. The city was beautiful. I remember being able to walk. We literally could walk down to the harbor, to Old Town Mall, other places, walk, catch the bus, whatever. So I remember the city having this sense of not just community, but there was a overall safety to the living here in the city. People could come and go, neighbors help neighbors, families, things like that. So my love is a little bit more nostalgic. Although I could probably eat you down with some crabs. I love the crabs.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
All right. And what about you?
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm not talking about Alaskan king crab. I'm talking about blue crab.
No, I'm talking about blue crabs, girl. Please.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, that'll be something fun to do. What about you, Kendra?
I love Baltimore culture. Mm-hmm. Of course, I love the Baltimore Ravens because what other football team is there? Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, I love being able blue crabs because we don't have those here in South Carolina. And growing up, we didn't have Utz potato chips and tasty cakes. So when we would come up to visit, we would always bring them back. But we have those in the grocery store now, so I don't have to come all the way to Maryland for them.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. That way you get up-to-the-minute content when we post. And we appreciate the support. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, it helps make our voice that much stronger. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. Check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, happy Easter, happy Passover, count your blessings, and live a life of purpose. Good night.